Hey crafty people, welcome back to my channel, and in case you're new here, I'm Sarah, also known as Craft Nerd because I'm a nerd who loves to craft. I do paper crafting, card making, junk journaling, and mixed media art. Let's get crafting! Oh, welcome back. In case you have not been watching my videos so far this month, I am participating in Ceri the Crafter's hashtag Mixed Media March 25 challenge in the month of March. I will leave a link to his intro video down below, but the gist of it is that you're supposed to post a project a day for the month of March that incorporates gel printing, that the finished product is rectangular in shape. You're supposed to incorporate the number for the date it corresponds to on the project, and sign your piece. And so far this month, I have been working on our little field notebook, which is rectangular in shape. And we created little ID cards for flora and fauna from a Alice in Wonderland-esque kind of place. So that's what we've got going on so far. And today we're going to do, today we are going to do the last piece, which is I want to create an envelope to put the little specimen slides we made on the 7th and the 8th. And we're going to add that to our little notebook, and then this guy will be done, and I'll move on to different projects involving jelly printing for the rest of the month. So this is a piece I gel printed off camera, and I did it on the finger paint paper that I got off of Amazon, and it was a little too flimsy for creating the like a coin style envelope that I want to make. So I backed it with some 32-pound copy paper. And I think the piece is sized okay so that we can just make it without having to cut it down, and it'll fit in our notebook. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to take my piece and I'm going to fold one side in. And I'm going to fold my other side in, and I think that's more interesting, so we're gonna end up doing it over like that. Let's just make sure we're not going too wide, and I think I'm gonna bring this in a little bit more. Will that fit? Let's make sure it'll fit on our page. Oh no, it's a little too wide, so I'm gonna bring this in a little bit more to make sure it will fit. All right, that will fit on a page. Okay. All right. So usually for a coin envelope, you kind of fold them in towards the middle-ish, and line the seam up a little more centered, but this one's going to be a little off to the side, and I'm okay with that. Now I'm going to grab my scoreboard, because for the bottom fold, I want to fold up only about a quarter of an inch-ish. May do half an inch, but it's a little easier for this fold to use our scoreboard to score it. You of course don't have to. So for the bottom, I'm going to score a half inch. And then the top, I will just fold down as much as I need to in order for it to fit in our booklet. All right, so fold this piece up and reinforce our fold, and then we're going to cut some away. So basically, we are going to cut away this flap and this flap, but we're going to angle it a little over here. So I'm just going to sketch this in so you can see better what I'm planning on doing with my scissors now, which is I'm going to come in and I'm going to angle to our score line here and our side score here. So we're going to come in at a little bit of an angle. And then trim this whole strip away. And actually, I want to take a little bit more of the bulk out so that our fold will fold better. So I'm just going to come in and sliver a little bit more off. So that this way, when this folds up, we don't have any resistance from the bottom of this page. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. There we go. And then this flap folds up, and so that's the bottom of our envelope. Now we need to just make sure we get it the right height. I think I'm going to end up cutting off some of this because that is a really big flap. Okay, so I'm going to just put my line, my fold line in, try and get it a little bit straighter. Try and be a little straight. All right, I'm going to use my bone folder to kind of reinforce that fold. And then what we're going to do is, as we did with the bottom, we're going to cut away the side pieces. So I cut a little bit below the fold line here, and I'm going to cut at an angle a little bit of our fold line over here. I'm going to do the same on the side. When we fold over, it's like that. And actually, I think I'm going to take a little bit more away on our side here because it'll make it a little easier to get our items in and out if there's a little bit more of a gap between where the fold is. All right, I think I'm going to grab my paper trimmer and trim off a little bit of this flap, just because it does not need to be quite that big of a flap. So let's trim away about there. So there's the top of our envelope and the bottom of our envelope. And what I want to do before I glue this closed is ink this part because it is way, way too white. I'm just gonna grab a scrap piece of paper, grab a brush and some vintage photo, and just ink this section here so that it's not so white. And I think I want to round my corners. Which not going to work great because I cut this at an angle, so never mind, we'll leave it like that. And now we are going to glue this together. I think I need to trim a little bit more away down here. Then I'm going to need to let a dog in because he's decided he wants back in. So to glue this shut, I'm going to put a line of glue down the edge of this flap and a line of glue down the edge of this flap. And that should be enough to glue our envelope closed. Just give me a minute, Bert. And then I'm going to glue up the sides and across the bottom here. And seal that up and go let a dog in. Okay, now I want to ink all of our edges. Let's go ahead and grab Dauber and do vintage photo again. May want to go darker. We'll see. Let's start with the lighter color because you can always go darker. You cannot lighten up, generally speaking, once you go dark. Trim that up a little better. That up a little bit better. Really need to create like a template or something so that I can get the two sides to kind of match up better. All right, not bad. All right, ink all of our edges. And go in and add glue where we need to add more glue. Should have probably inked the top before I glued the shut. It would have been easier, but it's all right. We can make do. Got a few spots that need some gluing because the papers are separating, because apparently I didn't get enough glue in that spot when I glued the pages together. I'm gonna reinforce that fold a little bit more. All right, so what I'm thinking of doing, first let's put our slides in. There they go, they fit lovely. And that, I am planning on just paper clipping it in, but we need to do a few more bits so that we comply with our challenge. So let me go grab a few things. I'll be right back. Okay, so I've got Tim Holtz Stampers Anonymous Field Notes CMS 396. I'm going to grab the specimen stamp. Shocking, since we've got specimen slides in there. And I've got a scrap piece of coffee dyed paper. I'm going to grab my mouse pad and I'm going to stamp that. And I'm using Versafine Clair Nocturne. Just stamp it off to the side. Then I'm going to grab our date stamp and we're on day 10. And if you haven't watched the other videos, what I'm doing is, this is a date stamp and it's for 2020, for the 2020s. But by selectively inking just the 25 and not the 20, I have been making our dates 1825. So I'm just going to ink the March part and the date, and then I am going to very carefully ink just the 25. And if need be, I can go in and clean off if I get ink where I don't want it on the stamp. Let's go ahead and stamp that. And then what I've done is gone in with a pen and added the 18. And we're going to put my signature on that side. And I feel like I need another stamp. And I feel like maybe I put the stamp I want away. Definitely want to grab this. We're going to do something with that here in a sec. No, we can use the filed. And I'm going to grab my Versafine Satin Red ink and stamp filed across there like that. We're going to keep that out for a sec. And I want to grunge this up a little bit, I think. I'm going to grab my, this is a Heidi Swap edge distressor. It just has a little blade inside of the plastic to use to rough up your edges, but you can also use a pair of scissors. If you just open them up like so, you can rough your edges up using scissors if you don't have one of the edge distressors. I just find that I'm less likely to cut my finger if I do it this way. So yeah, just be careful if you use your scissors. I generally try to minimize my chances of injuring myself because I'm very clumsy and often injure myself. All right, I think we're gonna put a few creases in. We're gonna grab our Scorched Timber and ink all around with that. I feel like I still need more ink on this. So what I think I'm going to do is grab an acrylic block, put a little vintage photo on the block, spritz it with a little bit of water, kind go like that a little bit to break it up. And stamp it down just to add a little bit more color to it. All right, we're gonna give that a second to dry. Actually, let's just grab our heat tool. I think we're gonna glue it up there. Just trying to decide if I want to do anything more to this or just leave it. Well, I do know one thing more I want to do. All right, and that's gonna go in there like that. I think we're gonna leave that, but I want to do one more thing for the back. And I'm gonna take, this is the enclosure stamp from Field Notes, and a scrap piece of paper. And I'm gonna grab some embossing powder, and we are going to stamp. Let me grab another scratch piece of paper so we can put our embossing powder back into the jar. So we're going to stamp in red. Just trying to make sure we've got full coverage, because and then we're going to add our embossing powder. Put that back in there. And I've embossed it so it looks kind of like a wax seal, and this paper is kind of thin, so what I think I may do is fold it over, make sure I got plenty of glue on there. I think I'm going to do it one more time just to thicken this up. Again, plenty of glue. Flip it over. Now I'm going to fussy cut it out. I'm going to ink the back of this. I'm actually going to do the front, because the spots where there isn't embossing powder, it will adhere to, so it's less white. And then we're just going to glue this on like so, along like the little top there. So it looks like at one point it was sealed shut. All right, let's grab, we're gonna use one of the teeny tiny Tim Holtz paper clips. Isn't that cute? Oop. And we are gonna paper clip this into our notebook. Whoop. Like so. Shift that over here. All right, so there is our finished field notebook. So let's do a quick flip through. And we made this on day 9, as illustrated by our stamp at the back. And we did this one on day 2. This was day 1, and the wings aren't glued down all the way. This was day 6. This is today. And inside we've got our 2 specimen slides that were day 7 and 8. And I have created a Mixed Media March playlist that I'm putting all the videos I've done for Mixed Media March into. So that playlist will be linked down below. So if you missed any of these, you can go back and watch those. That was day 4. Day 3. And day 5. So there we go. We did a coin envelope using gel printed paper for day 10 of hashtag Mixed Media March 25. So if you enjoyed this video, please do all the things that lets YouTube know you enjoyed the video. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave me a comment down below. Thanks for joining me, and happy crafting.